Tori Kruse. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Please put your comments below, and you can also find me on social media at Miss Tori Kruse. Today's guest is Ruth Sherman. Ruth, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on today's interview. I'm honored to have you. Ruth Sherman is a celebrity speech coach, and she was actually my personal speaking coach. So she helped me develop my signature talk and was just absolutely incredible. So I wanted to share Ruth with all of you today and have her just share her wonderful knowledge and wisdom in the public speaking industry. So welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Tori. As I mentioned to you earlier, I am so happy to be with you again. I'm so happy to be sharing whatever I can with your viewers, with your listeners, and yeah, let's make it happen.
Yes. So Ruth, tell us a little bit about your background, and you've been in the industry for quite some time now. So just give us a little bit of background about where you came from and then now where you are.
Sure. Well, in my undergraduate work, when I was in college, I majored in music and I came back to New York. I'm from the New York metro area, New Jersey, actually. And I decided to start auditioning, but I found out very quickly that I didn't want to work nights and weekends. And also I didn't, which, you know, you got to do when you're a performer. And also I wanted to make money. You know, in show business, you're either a star or you are starving. So I really wanted to make some money. And there was one area of show business where you could come with the skills that I had, which was the ability to sing and to read music, which was jingles. And at the time, this was the heyday of the jingles. Today, of course, jingles are sort of, they're not happening anymore. But anyway, I decided to become a jingle singer. So I did that. And of course, before I made any money as a jingle singer, I had to go out and get a job. I had to pay the rent. I had to buy food. You know, I was off the dole. I mean, it's to my parents' eternal credit that they were able to support me in college. And I know a lot of people don't have that, but I was fortunate. I did. And then I had to get a job. They were done. And so it was then that the seed was planted for what I do today. Just real quick, I realized I could walk into a room and get jobs I wasn't qualified for. Now, this was because I knew how to dress. I knew how to put on a costume. I knew how to walk into a room like I owned the place. I knew how to give a firm handshake, to make direct eye contact, engage in lively conversation. And people just liked my whole, you know, my presence, they liked my charisma, if you will. And so that kind of was what planted the seed. I didn't realize it then, but after jingles ended, I decided, well, I could help other people become better presenters, get jobs they might not be qualified for, because, you know, you want to get a chance, right? You want to get that door to open just a little bit. And this is the way to do it. So I became a speech coach. And that's kind of the short story.
That's amazing. And so as a speech coach, what are some challenges that you see that you have to overcome on a daily basis?
Tori, you and I know this for sure, and that is practicing. So people, I just did a TEDx talk not 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I know. I can't wait till it's up so I can share it with everybody. But I put 200 hours into that 12-minute talk. And so practicing is the key to the kingdom. You have to practice much more than you want to. So it is the biggest obstacle my busy clients face. You are one of the few people who I worked with seriously, and I told you this, that understood this and actually made it happen. Most people will not do the work that it takes. You know, there's a saying, it's a great saying, it's attributed to Michael Caine, where he says, rehearsal is the work, performance is the relaxation. And isn't that so true?
Love that.
Right?
So
Isn't
true.
it beautiful? It's a beautiful saying. So if you want to get to the point where you hit it out of the park, where you have people waiting in line to meet you afterward, where you have people asking for more and giving you more and new and better opportunities, that is how you get there. You don't get there by just, you know, doing the minimum and giving a mediocre presentation. So that's one of the biggest, that is the biggest obstacle people face. Yeah.
Practice makes perfect. It's such a cliche saying, but it's so, so true. And that goes for multiple things.
Yeah, right. You just said it. Say it again. I'm sure I cut you off.
That goes for multiple things. It doesn't matter what industry you're in or what you're trying to accomplish. You need to practice, practice, practice before you can perform at the level that you want to get at.
Exactly. And of course, with your background, you knew that.
Yeah,
You knew it was, if you didn't put in that time, you weren't going to get there. That's it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if there's anybody listening that really wants to be a public speaker, they have some message that they know is inside them, which I believe everybody does. What would you suggest for a brand spanking new speaker in the industry?
I would start with Toastmasters, actually. Toastmasters is a worldwide organization. I believe it is the oldest club in the world. So Toastmasters has chapters in every city, every major city in the world. And even some companies have chapters. So for example, in New York, or certainly in Phoenix, there are multiple chapters at different times of day, and for different groups of people. So you find a chapter that you like, and you go in, and for a very small fee, maybe it's like, covers coffee and just sort of the incidentals, maybe the room rental, just a few dollars, you have a chance to start getting practiced at technique. And they will beat those uhs and ums right out of you, and that's a good place to start, because you start by following all the rules, right? You start by really getting those techniques down. And then once you get good and you get practiced at it, you can start breaking some rules and making it more your own. But I would say start with Toastmasters, because it's so accessible and it's so inexpensive, if it even costs anything.
I know I went to a Toastmasters before, and it was really great. And then I also, as you know, am a part of the National Speakers Association. And so
Yes.
they're both very similar. They offer similar, teachings and practices and speakers that they bring in and you can learn from. And they're both excellent. So I totally agree with you. I mean, Toastmasters is great, National Speakers Association, anything like that. Now, when I tell everybody that I'm a motivational speaker, a lot of times, and I'm sure you get this too, is people are like, oh my gosh, like I am so scared of public speaking. How do you even step up on that stage? So what do you tell people that are so fearful of giving a presentation?
Yeah, get over it. Actually, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. Okay, so there's a couple of things about the stage fright that we feel. The first is that it means we care. It means we care about the outcome. Think about all of the things that you get nervous about. The second thing is that the brain doesn't differentiate between a fear of physical harm. You are walking down a dark street and you feel like somebody's walking behind you, right, in a threatening way, or there's a big bear in the woods that you're afraid of. The brain doesn't distinguish between that kind of fear and also the fear that you feel about getting up on a big stage, or even a medium-sized stage or a small stage, and presenting to a group of people. The only thing it knows is either I got to fight this off, or get the heck out of here, right, or run away. That's what the fight or flight response is, and that's what's going on when you're fearful about giving a talk. So there's the solution to that is, it's interestingly enough what I mentioned at first, which was practice. Practice is the antidote to stage fright. It doesn't mean it's going to eliminate it entirely, nor should it. You're actually better when you have a little of that adrenaline coursing through your veins to help you, but you've got to be prepared. If we think about somebody who is physically fit, would be much better able to fight off or flee from danger than somebody who's not. I think we can agree on that. By the same token, somebody who's prepared, who's practiced their talk, who's maybe had experience doing talks in the past, is going to be much better able to deal with the inevitable, adrenaline rush that you get, the rapid heartbeat, the sweaty palms, the sort of the little bit of a tremble. Everyone's different. So that's the trick, is to practice enough so that it becomes almost like muscle memory, right? Like just what athletes or musicians do. But
Yeah.
here's another part, and this is interesting because I was doing a keynote last week for a financial institution in Los Angeles, and I got a lot of questions, this exact question. There are people who suffer from a degree of stage fright that I would term is clinical, meaning they just, no matter what they do, they get paralyzed. And for those people, there's medication. I can't prescribe it. You have to go to your doctor.
That's not the only thing you can't do.
But you can look it up. Yeah, and you take it just when you need it. It's not the kind of thing that you have to take it all the time or anything like that. But it has changed people's lives. So that's why I mentioned it. Yeah.
Interesting. So what would you
You
say?
didn't need it.
No, I didn't. I practiced my tail off though.
You
And
did, but you were not paralyzed. Don't forget, you'd had experience being on big stages,
Yes.
so it helps.
It did help a ton. And I remember going on the Miss USA stage, and really more so the Miss Missouri stage though, because again, I practiced and practiced so much for Miss USA that for Miss Missouri, I think I even told you I would do these breathing techniques. I would see the word confidence coming in my mouth and doubt coming out, confidence in, doubt out, and so it's just like those breathing techniques. Do you have any techniques like that you use before you go on stage if you're feeling nervous?
Breathing is huge because of course it oxygenates your bloodstream and it also oxygenates your brain. So that gets you going. But I would say instead of trying to fend off stage fright, that feeling, it is an uncomfortable feeling. And if you're not expecting it or you aren't used to it, it can make you feel very out of sorts. I would say instead start shifting your mindset around that to embrace it, to know that it's coming, to understand that if you've done the work, that it will help you instead of hurt you, right? I mean, it's that connection, right, that you are able to make with your audience is a very different thing when you're feeling just psyched up about it, which is what it helps you do.
Yes. So Ruth, what are about 3 things that you would suggest to make a incredible impression on your audience in your signature talk?
So the first thing is to learn what stories to tell. One of the biggest problems in speaking today is that people, and this is not just today, by the way, it's been a long time problem. People are very comfortable talking about the technical aspects of the work that they do, and they don't understand that just it bores people, frankly. It bores them. So start thinking about what stories you can tell. And one of the things that I tell my clients is to start what I call a content journal, which is just a document. It's just a document where you start jotting down all of things that happen to you on a pretty much daily basis that you think are interesting, and that could be stories and incidences that or incidents. Yeah, incidents is the word, right? that happen in your daily life that you might be able to share with an audience that would engage them, that would give life to the information you're giving them, that would make them feel something. In fact, one of the most important things I think people can do is to start with a story. So instead of walking out and saying, thank you, I'm honored, I'm so happy to be here, what a great group, all the boilerplate stuff that audiences expect, go out there and start with a story. I mean, that's exactly what I did in my TEDx talk. I didn't even say hello, didn't say thank you, nothing. Yeah. Didn't say that until the very end. Of course, because I only had 12 minutes and I had to do it quick, but you know how effective that is to just get out there and start telling a story. So that's a big thing, is storytelling. Mm-hmm. The second thing, of course, is practice. The third thing I think that is so hugely important is to be cognizant and aware of how you look and sound and move and travel. So look how you look. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. You and I had lots of conversations about what would be a good look for your keynote, right? So we talked about the group you were talking to, who you are, where you come from, what time of day it is, would there be food being served? I mean, all of that happens to dictate. So dress and adornment, all the choices that we make. I had a professor who said it was everything you weren't born wearing. So I thought that was a good way to put it. All the choices, right? The way we move. So using your hands for small rooms, and for video, your hands can't be out here because you can't see them, right? And they can't be up here, and they really shouldn't be in front of your face. But on a big stage, you've got a lot of latitude and a lot of license to be physically expressive. Walk walk into that room or onto that platform like you own the place, so your posture is good. And what else? And eye contact. Make sure you're looking at groups of people in the room. So if you've got even 50 people in your audience, you're not going to be able to make contact with each one of them, but you can look at clusters of 5 or 10, right? And keep coming back. So, I mean, those are some really important things. One of the things that people don't know is that 93% of your message is communicated non-verbally. That doesn't mean that what you say doesn't count. It means that if the way you look and sound contradicts what you say, people will believe the way you look and sound and not what you say. And we see this happen all the time. People are boring, but they're experts. And so people just figure they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody listening is just jotting down notes like crazy if you want to be on a stage someday, because you're giving amazing advice. And also you have a book. So if you have one handy, can you show what the book is and just tell us a little bit about what it's about and how people can purchase it?
I'm trying to get it straight here onto the camera. Yes, this is my book. This is my book, Speakrets, and it is the 30 best, most effective, most overlooked marketing and personal branding essentials. And it's a series of chapters about everything, Tori, that we talked about today and way more. So you can find it anywhere books are sold or Amazon, So thank you for asking me to promote this, to show it.
Of course. It's an amazing book. She sent me one, and seriously, it's just been so helpful. But nothing beats your one-on-one coaching. So how can you be reached? If somebody wants to hire you for a speaking coach?
Well, they can do it one of two ways. The first thing I would advise would be to go to my website, which is ruthsherman.com. You can fill out a contact form there. In fact, why don't we leave it at that? That will always get to me. Perfect. So my website, again, ruthsherman.com, fill out a contact form, and one of my team members will get back to you, and we'll set up some time to chat and find out what it is you're looking for and whether it's a good fit.
Yes. And she is, seriously, you guys, I honestly mean this, is the most genuine, helpful. She came at the perfect time in my life. We were just talking about that, and she's just a genuine person and has so much amazing knowledge for the stages. So thank you, Ruth, for coming on today. I'm seriously just so honored to see you again. And thanks for all your helpful insight to all of our listeners.
Thank you, Tori. It's been just an honor and a pleasure, as I knew it would be. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that episode. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Also, please follow me on social media at Miss Tori Kruse. Until next time, be unstoppable.